A display by the National Historic Vehicle Register is taking place on the mall. The display, located by the National Air and Space Museum, is part of the opening ceremony for the third annual Cars at the Capitol exhibition. The 1964 Chevy Impala lowrider, named the Gypsy Rose, is in a glass case.
They're going to do another show after this, which is going to be more up-to-date cars, and then another show after that. Exactly what models, I'm not sure. But this car here is a unique classic, and it goes from city to city in durations, and it's just put on display, and people are really taken aback by it because it is an original piece. Everything on that car is in pristine condition, down to the details of the design. It's really, 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 really a rare gem. You won't find another car like that.
The exhibition by the Historic Vehicle Association is in partnership with the U.S. Department of the Interior, Historic American Engineering Record, and the Library of Congress. 2 more cars will be on display following the Gypsy Rose. Displays will continue throughout May 4th.
Now, we will send it over to Megan O'Keefe, also known as Mo, for a mini episode of the Motown. She's joined with 2 AU lacrosse players who are going to give us the inside scoop on what it's like to be a Division I athlete. Megan?
Thank you very much, Danielle, and thank you everyone for joining me on this little mini episode of The Modown. My nickname's Mo, if you need any explanation for that. But anyway, I am joined with 2 AU Laxers, senior Sarah Bootman and sophomore Brooke Stapleton. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, of course, definitely.
All right, Bootman, first of all, I mean, obviously your nickname's Bootman. I'm going to naturally just call you that. But congratulations, you were named AU Student Athlete of the Week. You scored 4 goals, had 1 assist in the last game. What were you feeling during that game that gave you so much of that strength?
Well, actually, we were down in that game by about 5 goals at one point, so I was kind of mad. And I thought, you know, like a big thing with our team is like capitalizing on any opportunity you have. So I guess what was running through my head was don't miss.
Well, okay. Well, I guess that really worked well for you. Okay, so before we get to any more questioning, we're going to play a little bit of a game where it's like a twist on the best friend challenge, but it's called the best teammate challenge. So what we're going to do, I'll explain to you guys real quick. I'm going to ask, let's say, Sarah a question about Brooke and what Brooke would answer. So they're both going to write down the answers on their little dry erase boards. No cheating. All right. Hold it up. Okay. Let's see. Sarah first. We're going to start with Brooke. If Brooke could have one artist playing in the locker room at all times, which one would it be? Rihanna? Oh, I'm giving you choices. Oh, okay. You already know. Okay. Okay, out of these 3 choices, we're going to go with Rihanna, Chainsmokers, or Drake. And we'll reveal it to our fans in 3, 2, 1. Hey! You guys know each other so well. All right, we'll flip-flop it. All right, Brooke, I'm going to ask you this one about Sarah.
Okay.
Where would you find Sarah on a weekend night? Catching up with homework in the library, watching a Penguins game, or killing it on the dance floor somewhere downtown?
I feel like that could be 2 things.
You don't have to write a whole sentence. We'll just go with a phrase. All right. And revealing in 3, 2, 1.
I combine them.
Hey, there you go.
Same thing. Oh my god.
You guys had nice handwriting for me rushing.
Stressed.
All right, next up. If Brooke could play any other sport, what would it be? Soccer, swimming, or be on the dance team?
Oh, jeez.
Jeez.
Swimming.
3, 2, 1. Oh, wow. You want to join? Okay. Next up. Okay. Sarah's favorite road trip activity. Watching Netflix. If that Wi-Fi ever
Do I have
works.
Wi-Fi in my car?
You have Wi-Fi in the bus. Sleeping or taking Snapchats of teammates sleeping. And 3, 2, 1. Nice! You guys are killing it. All right, on to the next one. Okay, we're doing Brooke's. Brooke's favorite on-campus dining establishment. I know
So many options.
So many choices. We're going with TDR, Subway, or the classic Megabytes.
Ooh.
I didn't think this would be the hardest question. And 3, 2, 1. The streak is over. Okay, on to the next one. In Sarah's opinion, which is the worst fitness type activity ever? Dog Park, which is this massive mountain of a hill you have to run up, the beep test, which just sucks, and max out day in the weight room. Which one's the worst?
God, I hate them all.
Not even a good question. They all
the worst one.
3, 2, 1. Ooh.
I hate lifting.
Okay, they all suck.
I hate that one too, though. That could have gone both ways.
Okay. For Brooke, her favorite, okay, if she's walking around on an off day, what are you going to see Brooke wearing? Is she going to be in a cute outfit? Is practice uniform her life? Or is it going to be like an athleisure look? 3, 2, 1, reveal. Athleisure, nice little combo of the two. And the last one for Sarah, favorite pregame meal. Are we going with Buoy Monger breakfast, Panera, or Mama Lucia's Italian, which doesn't sit well before a game, in my opinion, but.
Buoy Monger.
3, 2, 1, go. Yay! What a way to finish. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you guys for watching this little mini episode of the Mowdown. I have been joined with senior Sarah Bootman and sophomore Brooke Stapleton. Thank you guys so much. And we're heading back over to the anchor desk where they're going to catch you up on a really impressive PTA fundraising event from Janney Elementary. Back to you guys.
One DC elementary school tops a list for highest parental donations. While a positive on the surface, do these donations further the education gap between the rich and the poor? Dan Legnato has more.
They say education is the great equalizer. However, a new study shows that may not be the case. A study conducted by the Center for American Progress shows that certain schools in certain areas of town may have more advantages than others. Janney Elementary, for example, in Tenleytown, has one of the largest PTA fundraising pools of any school in the country. In the past, the Janney PTA has raised over $1 million to fund different school programs. This flies in direct contrast to schools in other areas of the district, which have significantly less funding as a result of being in lower economic areas.
Not surprisingly, parent organizations at wealthier schools are able to raise a lot more money for their schools than these organizations at lower income schools. And that contributes to this issue of lower income schools just receiving less resources than their higher income counterparts.
While this money is good for Janney, other schools around the nation or around the district have been forced to make do with much less, causing them to cut teachers and or programs that could be beneficial to their students. New education policy is unlikely to help this problem, as new Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos wants to allocate more funding towards people putting their children into private schools.
You know, the states shall allocate the funds to local educational agencies, which are school districts, essentially, based off of how many kids are there, but then also how many kids are going to private schools. Or
one proposed potential solution to this problem would be pooling parental donations and distributing them somewhat evenly throughout all the schools in a district or a town. For District Wire News, I'm Dan Legnato.
Student, it's creating buzz on and off campus. We will now pass it over to District Talk's Ellie Klossmeyer, who is sitting down with the filmmaker to discuss this upcoming documentary. Ellie?
Thanks, Danielle. A student at American University is uncovering a secret shielded by the U.S. government for decades. Beginning in 1964, the U.S. government relentlessly bombed Laos in order to support the anti-communist government. Today, over 80 million unexploded bombs litter this country of 7 million, injuring hundreds of people per year. Aaron McGough, a filmer and a musician, hopes to shed light on this underreported issue. Thank you for being here, Aaron.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
So I understand that you first held interest in this issue when traveling to Laos. Can you first tell me how you were exposed to these bombings?
Of course, yeah. So about like 5 years ago, I went to Laos on a family vacation, and we were just doing like the Vietnam, Cambodia like circuit, seeing the waterfalls and eating the food, and it was great. I loved Laos. It was so tranquil and it seemed so untouched. And then it wasn't until last year when I applied to go back to Laos on the alternative break program that I realized what the United States did to Laos. And it was really shocking because I just had no idea. Like I thought the country was so peaceful and tranquil, and little did I know that it was the most bombed country in the world. So I went back on the alternative break, and we were there researching and talking to Laotians and meeting with a variety of organizations for about 3 weeks, almost 3 weeks. So yeah, I'm looking to go back in September.
That's amazing. So you mentioned the U.S.'s role in the bombings. How has this journey affected your perception of the United States and as a citizen of the United States and the U.S.'s interaction with other countries?
Definitely, yeah. Well, that's a good word, journey. At the beginning of it, I was really mad. I was like, man, how could we do this? We bombed like innocent civilians. 98% of people killed were innocent civilians, and still are children, and just people just living their lives. So it made me really sad. I was like, how could we do this? How could this pass by Congress? It didn't pass by Congress, by the way. It was completely covert. But as the process kept going, I kind of realized, that this. I stopped being angry at the United States. I mean, it was a horrible thing that happened, but I think it's time today to just focus on finding solutions, because landmines are an issue all over the world, and I don't think people pay enough attention to post-conflict recovery. So yeah, while it's like a horrible thing that the United States did, I think we just need to start moving towards finding effective and efficient solutions, because it's been 40 years and people are still dying. So. Yeah.
More towards like an active solution.
Yeah.
And you're part of that. So you crowdfunded, I would say all of the funds, or most of the funds towards this project.
Yeah.
Yes. So how did that feel, and how were you able to mobilize so many people to educate them and get them on board with this project?
Yeah. So like before I started crowdfunding, I took a really deep introspective, time to just kind of figure out why I cared about this issue, because, I'm just like a normal American girl. Like I go to American University, I'm pretty, typical. So why do I care about Laos so much? And I realized that it's because I interacted with the Laotians and they were so kind and friendly to me, yet, we bombed them more than we bombed any country in the world. Like a massive injustice took place. So I figured that I just needed to communicate that to other people to make them care. And so I made a trailer, and I filmed footage on my trip, and I cut it together and I scored it, put music, and I think it's really touching. A lot of people told me that it made them cry, and I'm like, yes, then I succeeded, because I want other people to feel what I felt when I found this out, so we can help Laos, so I can make this film and so that people can know about this, and that we can start to do anything to help Laos. We barely, this country, I mean, we spent more money in 10 days of bombing Laos than we've donated in total to the recovery effort. So, yeah, I just want to bring that to light.
So on a little bit of a lighter note, so you're also a musician, and you scored the music for the trailer yourself. What do you think the role of music is in storytelling in this creative process for you?
Definitely, yeah. So I'm really passionate about score composing. So I'm really happy you asked that question. I grew up in a very musical home. I grew up playing classical piano. I had a family band. We had a recording studio, all this stuff. But I'm a very visual person, so that's why I went into filmmaking. But I'm very passionate about film score. I grew up listening to Hans Zimmer and Howard Shore. I had the Jonas Brothers on my iPod, but I also had Thomas Newton Howard, all these different score composers. So I've always really loved score composition, and I think it's because it evokes feelings in people. You can probably whistle the theme to Forrest Gump and to Harry Potter and to Lord of the Rings without actually knowing it, and score just plays such a powerful role in telling stories and getting people to feel things, and that's kind of the goal for me as a filmmaker, is just to make people feel things. So as a musician, of course, I love score and the power it can have in storytelling. So that's why I'm prioritizing a huge portion of my budget to original score composition.
Erin, that's amazing, and you're amazing. This is Erin McGough, folks, talking about her new documentary she's hoping to make called This Little Land of Mines. Back to you, Danielle.
Thanks, Ellie. That's all for us at District Talk. I'm Danielle DiBartolo.
And I'm Patrick Kavanaugh. Good night.